Much like the previous year, the 1984 penny too is a good year when you are searching for variety coins. First in line is a double die obverse variety from the Denver Mint. So on this 1984 D cent, you will want to examine the date where you might find barely perceptible notching on the 1 of the date. The stronger doubling, however, is seen displayed on the number 9 of the date, which is doubled all along the tail of the number. Next then, logically, is the number 8, where you want to look to the bottom rounding, due southeast, to see the clear doubling here. This affects both the top and bottom parts of the 8, although it is definitely clearer on the bottom section. Finally, we have the number 4, which is doubled almost due east, with the doubling on the number displaying towards the right. Now, it is possible that a coin in a lower grade, or perhaps simply a very late worn-out die state, that the doubling might be harder to notice, as separation lines might fade and eventually disappear altogether. In such a case, you should still, at the very least, be left with numbers that display additional thickness. The tail of the 9, for instance, will not have a nice sharp point, but instead be very blunt at its tip, or blocked off almost in a way. And most of the tail is thicker than it really should be as well. Additionally, the 8 appears lopsided towards the bottom right, with the 4 as usually the least affected in this particular way. If you really want to look closer, then some additional thickness on the letters of Liberty appear in addition to slight doubling on the bottom of Lincoln's jacket, but these are more academic than anything else at this point. This is a relatively nice variety, but for some reason remains relatively unknown, with surprisingly few examples seen. In 2023, a PCGS graded MS63 red example was sold at auction for $114. Next, we move away from the Western Branch Mint and back to the Philadelphia Mint. Now this is an example of a Class 2 or distorted hub-doubled coin. It's interesting to note that the doubling on the date is surprisingly similar, at least in appearance, to the doubling that we just looked at the previous Denver Mint coin. You can notice the distortion in the way that the numbers almost seem to be stretched towards the rim of the coin. In an early die state example, you can clearly see doubling, including full separation lines on the tail of the 9 and the bottom right of the 8 as well. But in most coins, it will probably only look like it was stretched out, or, well, I suppose smeared a little bit, but always towards the rim of the coin. This pattern is again repeated on the letters of Liberty, where the letters are doubled directly towards the rim of the coin. An early die state coin will have separation lines on the letters with doubling towards the right, even showing notching on, say, the toe of the letter R, for instance. But in a later die state, the letters are simply a little thicker than they should be. This holds especially true for the uprights or vertical portions of the letters like the L and the I. Remember that in a distorted hub-doubled coin, the doubling should move towards the rim of the coin. A good example here, again, is the bottom of Lincoln's bust, which is doubled all the way around, which is a detail about this particular coin that most people are prone to miss or simply overlook. It becomes a little more apparent, however, when you compare it to a regular or non-variety example of the same issue, and while we're in the same neighborhood, comparing the date, the doubling again very quickly becomes evident, especially on the tail of the 9 and the lower portions of the 8, as mentioned earlier. Since we've already come this far, making a quick comparison of the letters of Liberty, especially the L and I, the effects of the doubling can be seen more clearly. Even on letters further on, like the toe of the R, can also be a good giveaway of this particular variety. But that is not all, as all of the letters of "In God We Trust" are similarly doubled, again towards the rim of the coin, this time affecting the horizontal parts of the letters more dramatically, due to the way that they are placed in relationship to the rim of the coin. Now, I find that the letters of the "We Trust" section are the easiest to detect, especially the letter S, and the tops of the T's, as well as the bottom portion, the rounding, if you will, of the U. Now, this coin also, rather interestingly, has a number of die markers that you can use to confirm the variety on the reverse of the coin as well. This includes the remnant of what appears to be a die clash inside the fourth bay of the memorial building, in addition to numerous vertical die scratches inside bays 1 through 4, as well as the last 2 bays of the memorial building. During 2021, a PCGS graded example of this coin, slabbed as MS65 red-brown, was sold at auction for the sum of $240. The main double die obverse variety, though, and certainly the one that gets most, if not all of the attention for 1984, comes in the form of the 1984 doubled ear variety, although it is certainly also easy to understand why. It is by far the boldest variety for the date and the easiest to spot as well. As the name should suggest, Lincoln's ear is doubled very boldly towards the south, with the entire earlobe and most of the middle section of the ear doubled almost completely towards the south. Now, the beard is also substantially doubled in its own right, but well, let's be honest here. The ear is the star of the show for good reason. Notable and reliable die markers on this variety that are worth a mention are 2 diagonal die scratches that travel through the E of "we." This is a fantastic variety for the series, and there is always collector interest in this coin, so selling it is just easy. And in 2021, a coin certified by PCGS as MS68 red was sold at auction for $2,880. If you like this video, then perhaps you'd want to check out a similar video about the 2004 double die reverse penny as well. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.